Good morning. Please have a cup of coffee. Make yourself at home, coffee-wise, here, and we're glad to have you. So let's our folks that work for us. I know we have Ken, one of our board members here. He doesn't get his paycheck as a volunteer as a board member. We appreciate him. But let's, Lori, would you just start there? Just kind of go around and introduce yourselves.
Lori Ross,
Frank Underwood, Safety, Security, Transportation.
sorry, Brenda Hackett.
You're good.
Director of Quality Improvement.
Shelby Scarborough, Community Service Director.
Jason Palmer, Chief Financial Officer.
David Burr, Education Services.
They're coughing over there.
Joe Martin,
Ryan Burns, Director of Communications.
Okay. And I'm Larry, and we have Gabe and Chris and Karen and Stephanie are being waved over there. Hello. So, anyway, we're just glad you guys are here today. Basic kind of things we're going to touch on, just some construction updates as far as Capital City and Jeff City High School. We're going to touch on our boundary lines and an address lookup tool that's now live that you can go to our district website as far as have some clarity with some guidelines on our where our students will attend school, and then we're going to talk about school start times, and so we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. And so with that, let's we do have a timeline. Is this on our website here? This timeline, and I'm not sure. Carrie Mitchell-Dale, Carrie, would you just kind of an overview start of just kind of an update, and then any questions at Capital City or JC, if folks might have to give an update, please. Carrie Gamford's with Architects Alliance, and we appreciate what he does, and so we'll go from there.
Okay.
Morning, everyone. As far as the construction progress, I want to make sure everybody knows Mitchell Fumiller is here. He's primarily over at Capital City High School. Dale Brown is here. He's primarily responsible for Jeff City High School, and they're both from Naples. Recently, we completed Area G, which is the Lafayette Street side. So if you ever are in the building and tour those, that's near the final product. We still have some windows to do and things like that, but moved on to Nichols Career Center, just a lower level on grade. If you go in there, you won't recognize it. It's completely gutted, and going back in with new partitions, drywall, heating, HVAC, finishes, everything. It'll basically be a new building. That's just the lower level. Next, we'll go to, the contractors will go to Area F, which is Science. Science has already been demoed once, just to get the finishes out, but we moved the contractors, and staff moved the science equipment back in to make the schedule for so when kids return to school. So we're returning to that area and finishing the renovation next in F. Ongoing to that is Area C, which is the connector. If you look out there, you'll see there's nothing gone. The difficult thing about the connector is now the kids, probably till the end of the job, guys, are routed around the center of the building. So this is the part where we said it's going to stink. We're in the stink phase. They're routed down on Union Street and up to Nichols Career Center, or routed northward towards the wrestling building and up the hill. So if you go by, you'll see temporary stairs, and the kids are going around the construction to keep them separate from the activities. What else? Oh, I wanted to say that Naples has done an excellent job of this phasing with the owner. There's a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of input by staff and faculty. We know you all have day jobs, but without the input of staff and faculty, it would be impossible to do something this complicated in a safe and expeditious manner. What else can I tell you? The next phases after Science are the gym and the other two phases of Nichols Career Center, so that's ongoing. The little theater, be hard to recognize. You'll see some of the historic walls, but the floor's been leveled for a black box theater. Also simultaneous to this is ongoing meetings about furniture, fixtures, and equipment. There's thousands of pieces of that have to be considered for all the classrooms, deciding which equipment can be used in the new versus what needs to be purchased new, and then the timing of that, how it's purchased and arriving at the time that particular phase of construction concludes. So that's an enormous effort that staff is putting input on with the interior designer on that project, on that phase. We all heard that November was the goal for Naples to have Capital City High School under roof. They made that goal. It's pretty ironic because at the simultaneous, a project of that size is doing roofing and doing concrete slabs, pouring, and framing and hanging sheetrock. So normally those don't go together very well, but it's the scale of the project allows that to be going on. And I think the last I heard there were over 200 people on site helping with that. Is that growing? Will that grow?
200 probably where we maxed out as we got, now we have all the areas for everybody to work.
Okay. I was going to ask or say along with 200 people on site, there's 80 to 90 subcontractors in the Mid-Missouri area working on this. So as far as economic development, it's great for about 80 to 90 local subcontractors, local area, Mid-Missouri, I call it. Outstate, it's about 19 or 20 additional subcontractors, all under the guidance of Naples. And then the communities, 80 communities. The reason we know that, they're sending workers to this area to work, see the pay reports, and see what communities these people are driving to work on this project. So, and I'd say for every person in the field, there are dozens in offices, plants, and shops working to support those people in the field. Work in the valley continues. Phase 1 will include baseball, softball, football, soccer, tennis, track, and field.
Not at all, it went to sleep.
Thank you.
That's it. Any questions? Thank you. I'm sorry?
Plan completion date.
Yeah, these guys can get really complicated. Simply put, the high school, the fall of 19, Capital City High School, the fall of 19, part of the building will be finished. Some classrooms, about a third. Admin, the office, kitchen, dining areas. August of 19, with the remainder to come in on the 20th. And then there's numerous deadlines in terms of the phases within Jefferson City High School. Jefferson City High School, believe it, is a lot more complicated in phasing because the kids are on site and they have to be kept safe from the construction. So there's multiple deadlines there with all of them being completed by January of 2020. Any other questions? Thank you.
And I think a big part of that, as we all know, trying to, at Jeff City High School, not disrupt the learning environment. If you've renovated your house, disrupting your house, we know that we're asking folks to be patient, and they are. And just kudos to the high school staff and our students and parents with their patience with this. So, but we're excited about it, and time-wise, where we are. So if no other questions on any construction updates, let's go to the our website for our. So this is our website, jcschools.us. On the left-hand side, address lookup tool. So you can click on this, and basically, as you know, we've touched on many times with regards to the opening of Capital City High School next fall, with regards to boundary lines and where you live and what school you attend. As a general rule, Thomas Jefferson Middle School will feed Capital City High School, and Lewis and Clark Middle School will feed Jeff City High School. We went through a boundary line process as far as with our elementary schools and middle schools. Through the process, our elementary schools did not change at all. Boundary lines were not changed. One primary change was currently Thorpe Gordon Elementary School, which is kind of this cream colored here. Thorpe Gordon, currently, some of this goes to Thomas Jefferson, the other portion goes to Lewis and Clark, and the white here of Cedar Hill currently all goes to Lewis and Clark. And so the change through the process was that Thorpe Gordon will no longer split. All of Thorpe Gordon will go to Lewis and Clark, but now a portion of Cedar Hill will split. Some will attend Capital City High School or Thomas Jefferson, and then Capital City High School with the other portion remaining at Lewis and Clark and Jeff City High School. So through that process of changing in the area near Capital City High School, we have an address lookup tool so you can determine where you live. So let's put in, we'll put in our central office, 315 East Dunklin. So let's type that in. Okay, we click on it. This shows a map of our district. If we could give a couple pluses. We have up here elementary schools, middle schools, and high school. So right now it's on elementary schools. It's clicked. So you may need to zoom in a little bit more. Okay. Go a couple more pluses. You may need to zoom in a little more if it's near a border. But as you can see here, it's this color, and then you go, that's Thorpe Gordon Elementary School. If you scroll up and click on the middle schools, okay, so our two middle schools of Thomas Jefferson and Lewis and Clark. If you zoomed in a little, you can see that that is in the color here of the Lewis and Clark. And then let's click on the high school. If we could, please. So JC is red, Capital City. And as you scroll down, and if you zoom in, you can see that it was here on the red side. Any questions on that? We've had realtors that have asked us, hey, I've had folks that call, so where are they going to go to school if they live in a certain spot? And so we hope this tool is something that will help work with folks to have a better idea if there's any questions. This is just kind of a lookup tool. It's there now. It's on our district website. We're going to encourage folks. And I think that on our Wednesday wire, as far as information on that for our parents, patrons, to give them some information on that. Am I correct on that?
Yes, we sent a message to all parents last night.
Okay, last night. So just trying to be proactive with that with regards to school-wise. If you would go back, I think I'll just touch on here. So the guidelines, and I'm not going to go through every one because we have before. I will just kind of refresh some guiding principles. Number one is you go to school where you live. Okay, and I know, well duh. But as a general rule, where do you reside? And that's where you go to school. We don't want to split families. So if we've had families that are currently attending a school that it might be a change through the process, that we don't want to split families, that they could follow their siblings. And that is outlined in the process here as well. I have in my house, I think I've shared, we live within the Thomas Jefferson Capital City, but I currently have 2 students at JC High School. So my 8th grader at Thomas Jefferson could follow my sophomore who goes to JC High. My 8th grader could attend JC High next fall because she will have a sibling there as a junior next fall. So they could follow them because we don't want to split families. I have a 6th grader as well. That 6th grader could follow if my 8th grader did follow, as long as you had a sibling. If you have a sibling that then goes where they reside, then that basically breaks that. And you can't attend with regards to automatically. You can always apply for special permission. We have a special permission process now. If you live in a certain district, you go to school where you reside, you want to go elsewhere, you can apply for special permission just like you can now and just like you've always been able to. So that's a guidelines with that. So any questions on that or anything I maybe need to touch on that I haven't touched on?
What's happening with
Simonson Building is currently our freshmen are there, and right now with Capital City High School not being finished, completed starting next fall. As of right now, it's not been determined. For a full example, I know our gymnasium will not be finished at the start of school, and we know that. That is going to be a challenge, we know, with regards to for physical education classes, for volleyball practice after school, which is a fall sport. Thomas Jefferson Gymnasium, Simonson Gymnasium. So next year is kind of a transition, and it's not been determined of the fall of 20. So, any other questions, whether Simonson or anything on the boundary lines and students where they're attending school? Any questions on those? Okay, that's on our website. I encourage folks to take a look at that. If they've got any questions, make sure and let us know on that. Okay, the last thing that I want to touch on as a primary topic, and then we can have open Q&A time, is just our school start times. So we currently, right here, and this is under our About Us tab. It has our schools start and end times. So we have 7:50 at JC High School. I won't go through everyone. You can read that. And those are listed alphabetically. I remember the first time trying to, why don't we have this by, all the 7:50 times? But it's just alphabetically as we look at our schools. So I shared this. I'd been in the district about 3 weeks in July of 15, and I was on a Sunday morning radio call-in with Mark Ellinger and Bob Scribner, and a patron called and asked me, why do all of our schools not start at 8 o'clock and all of them be at the same time? And I'm like, that's a really good question. I don't know. I didn't know the answer. So when I came back, talked to Jason, looking at our schools, we have different start times because we have some tiered bus routes. It costs about $45,000 per route when it's an individual route. If we can then do a second route after that, as a second tiered route, it costs about $5,000 for the second route. So we can save money for 2 routes if we went back to back and cost approximately $50,000, as in 45 plus 5, versus if you had 2 individual routes, 45 times 2 would be $90,000. So we can save some money with tiered routes. So we have some tiered routes, and we are looking at stewardship as one of our 3 core pillars of being a good steward of patrons' money, looking at the options of next year. What would it look like on our start times if we had more consistency and had either all of our elementaries late and secondary early, or secondary late and elementaries early? Looking at those 2 options financially, what the impact would be academically, and what would that look like? So we've got as a board agenda item for this Monday. We're going to discuss this. We have some research that, what does it do to student learning, specifically secondary, if school starts at a later time. So we're going to work through that. It hits on our 3 pillars of stewardship. We can save $500,000 a year by some times. If learning goes up, then our partnership is our 3rd pillar, and we're going to look at those discussed Monday night. So any questions on those with some scenarios? This is on our district website here. Here's a sample. No decision has been made. We're not going to ask for a decision Monday night. We're going to discuss that, but we are going to involve our staff. We're going to have some community-wide town hall meetings that we have scheduled. Are those confirmed, Stephanie? Of January, right? Okay, so we have those scheduled community-wide town halls. We'll discuss it here at our Coffees with Larry. It'll be on our board agenda items with our faculty council, with our ACDC, with our AC. So just we want to make sure it involves stakeholders and explore it. And if we determine keep what we're doing, or hey, let's look at changing it, and if it's what's best for our district to help us give students hope for a better tomorrow, then that's something we need to be looking at, considering. So that's where we are. So any questions on that, or anything I need to touch on with regards to that now? We will be discussing more in depth on Monday night. Okay. You never know when you have boundary lines and school start times and construction updates, how long are those 3 primary topics? What questions do you guys have on anything school district-wise happenings that we have going on at this time? Steve, yeah.
Reference was made that, did anybody walk through the high school or anything like that, did that option? We will look at what's already been done, or is that
Off limits?
well,
It's not.
talking to the kids and stuff like that, right?
we do have school going on. So have we had a community-wide, hey, come and join our school when we've got 1,800 kids there having school as far as tour-wide during school? We don't right now. Do we, what is the, Brian, Jason, where are we, Dale? Have we had discussions on, we are going to invite an a open house type thing. We will have that. What is the plans going forward at time?
We want to be farther down the line to get some more, some of these areas done before we had this big old open house.
Right.
We needed to arrange a small, talk about that. But we have a plan for a big community open house in the park.
Actually, I mean, you know, you have to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But you just mentioned, when we walk through it, thinking, oh, I would like to see, you know, what we're talking about.
Right, that's fair. That's fair.
You're saying this and this and this and this, and how do we get across and
It's kind of a big deal when you say a session is finished, because you're going to go, say, at the top floor of the high school over along Lafayette Street. That's finished to the point where we can move students back in there. So that's why it's such a big deal. Is students move back in, we take another section of the high school down, another 20 or so classrooms, and it gets totally in order and redone. The one thing about, say, move back in, there are a couple things that are still not going to be completed. We've got very good reviews and advocacy, really like it. But the wall graphics and the windows have not been done. The windows will all be next summer, the whole project will be done. So you still have the old windows and air conditioner will be in the classroom. It looks like running out.
or through the air conditioners out there, and then you're saying that's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the other thing too is the furniture and fixtures are not up to date yet. And so, I mean, this summer, I went over to walk through, we'll start at one of the hallways, classrooms that are renovated. Well, it does, I mean, it looks fantastic, but then you got old furniture and fixtures in there, and so to even say, you know, that it looks like what it's gonna look like, it's not all complete.
So, to answer specifically your question, we are going to have an organized, if in small groups, or if you'd like to, I mean, we have students there, we're always inviting, we want folks to feel, hey, these are our schools, it's not ours, it's ours, it's in the community schools, and to coordinate just through the office, and as far as if you want to schedule with Bob James, or a time stop by, is there a time I could see what we have currently? Absolutely, you have that right, and we encourage folks. And now, we've not put a press release, hey, everybody come see the school and just walk through whenever you want. And I know you were not implying that, but it is something we want to make sure folks that, that's one reason why we have the monthly. Do we have some photos here that we can show, or at least show folks where they can see those? How would they get to them? So, quick link, renovation, construction updates, and I believe we have some, two things. One, we have the, a live, shot here at the high school and at, these are photos, but click on the work zone cam. Could you do that, please? We have a work zone cam, one at Jeff City High School and one at Capital City High School. Is this right now? 7 a.m. on December 7th? Well, the sun's not shining. The sun's always shining at our schools, but okay. And a live, is the live, did you have the live one there?
That photo was showing Nicholson sign
Okay. But where's the live zone? Is the, scroll back right here. We go. You click on that. So I believe this is this live here now? 7 a.m. So 26. Every 15 minutes, thank you, Dave. So anyway, there are some photos throughout the process. Jeff City High School and at Keppel City High School. So, Frank. Well, trying to determine, we have, this chair is not brand new, but this chair would be very adequate. So we're not just getting rid of all the old furniture. Old, what is old? That's a very subjective term. So if we determine that we have furniture that is no longer usable in our schools, we will declare those surplus. And when they're declared surplus, that folks have an opportunity, just as they do now, once they're declared surplus. But we don't plan on just having a big bonfire or sticking them in a dumpster. If they are out of, to where they cannot be used in a way that's conducive to a positive learning environment, then we will be communicating, and just like our current surplus, that we declare surplus, where folks would have an opportunity as well. So we're not going to have a big sale as far as with all of our furniture, because we're going to be using a lot of our furniture, because we have chairs. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with this chair, and it's not brand new. I know that's a simple example, but the same concept applies. So, okay, I have 7:30. What we'll do, I'd like our folks, if you can, stay, and if folks have any questions, just kind of roam around. We still have coffee going, and we're excited about that. So we'll stay around here if you have any questions. Chris, Gabe, Sue is. Kudos to you guys on the decorations here. Yeah. And seriously, Sue and Gabe. Yeah. Stephanie, could you ask Gabe? Stephanie, could you ask Gabe to come out here? I'd just like to recognize her and tell her thanks publicly. Or Chris, could you ask him to come out here? Don't think everybody's looking at them. If they could.
Well, Sue's not here.
Okay, see if Gabe can come out here. Well, when she comes out here, we'll recognize. So thank you guys for coming. Here she is. Gabe, we'd like to publicly say thank you for the decorations. They look awesome and everything. So thank you. So help yourself a coffee, and we'll stay around. Any questions on anything we've touched on, boundary lines, school start times,